Crawl space, I'm Kim Kral. Crawl space, I'm invading your space. Crawl space, I'm Kim Kral.
Hey, it's Kim Kral. I'm laughing. I don't know why. I was singing a song to Henry, my cat, when I got in the closet, and then I do the sound check right before just to make sure that the mic is plugged in correctly or whatever, right? And the sound check was me singing to Henry, and then I started laughing because of how crazy I sound. Hi, it's Kral Space. I'm Kim Kral. I am reporting to you not live in my closet. Henry's in here. Well, he's on the other side of the closet. This is where he sleeps now. He found a little place that he just nuzzles up. It's very cute. And he's doing well. I think I already told you guys this last week. I'm not sure. All the days run together. I don't know, guys. And I'm starting to get busy. Like, I'm starting to get shit on my schedule. And I haven't had real shit on. I mean, you have some stuff on your schedule, but not like, like a routine. And it's making me like feel a little chaotic. Anybody else feel that way? Like, I'm like, I got to figure out how to use my calendar again. Cause like it's just like every day you wake up and you're like, I have to do this like one thing, maybe whatever. Right. And now I'm like, oh fuck, I got a job. I got all this other stuff. I'm performing live for the first time tonight. I'm performing live since March 11th. Oh, God, that's so scary. That's so fucking crazy. Truthfully, I don't even know how I'm going to prepare. Like, I don't even know how I'm going to prepare. I'm like, do I remember any of my old jokes? Do they work now in this world? Should I just go up there and wing it? And I know that most people are like, no, don't do that. But that's kind of how I've always done comedy. Like, I've always had, like, I'm like, okay, these are the 4 things I want to talk about. And then I go up there and I talk about them. Like, I've never been a set list person, which really pisses off. A guy I used to work with really pissed him off. But I'm funny, so it took me a long time to kind of like not care what that guy thought. In fact, it took us not working together any longer and me looking at my own and how I work. And like, not everyone works the same way, but when I try to write down exactly what I'm going to say up there, I get all fucked up and I try to like, I don't know. Oh boy, I'm all over the map. I just took a brilliant poop. It just like poured out of me, man. Not poured, not it, I mean, apparently in the quarantine, I just don't poop solid anymore. Like, that's just how it's been since March. I think that's just anxiety, honestly. And my anxiety is just like my normal. I don't know what I'm saying. Where do we start? Oh, Henry is doing, and I also just drink a bunch of coffee too. You know, when you drink coffee and then you poop and you feel good, you just feel alive. But yeah, I took Henry. We went in and got his numbers checked. Oh no, we went in and got his numbers checked on Thursday. So it was after I talked to you guys. Yeah, which it smells like a fire outside. If you're on the West Coast, you know what I'm talking about. My cousin in Oregon has not left her inside her home with her kids in 4 days because the air quality is so bad. I went on a hike yesterday and like, it was so eerie. Like, once you get further up, just looking over the city was literally a smoke. You couldn't see anything. It was so bad. But we went and took Henry in to get his numbers checked, and he's good. His numbers are under a 2. Now, remember, I don't know if he has hyperthyroidism. He was hospitalized a month and a half ago. I'm sounding much more excited about this than I did a month and a half ago, obviously, because he's better. And what am I saying? So to give you an idea, the thyroid number they want the number to be under like 4.5 or 4.8, I believe. And Henry was at a 20. So he was panting, which cats aren't supposed to do. And I took him to the ER because when I called my doctor, my then vet, who kind of sucks, they were like, no, don't come here, go straight to the ER. And then I called the ER and they're like, get here now. So I, got there and he was hospitalized for a night, and he was panting, and it's because his numbers were at a 20 and he was trying to calm himself down and not have a stroke. How fucking scary is that? So then, they kept him overnight, which was one of the worst nights of my life. And then, I had to find another vet because I took him to the vet I used to take him to, and they were just so shitty. I just don't understand. It's like a weird money grab. Like, it's like a weird mechanic. And a lot of people have had this experience with vets. They're like, yeah, it's like they know that you don't know, and the cat can't be like, oh, I'm fine, I don't need that. So they when I took the Henry into the first vet, it was, oh God, it was awful. First of all, it was curbside because of COVID. And they took Henry, and then he called me, and he's like, all right, we did the work, and then we want to do this, and we want to do that. And we want to extract like 10 of his teeth. I was like, what? Why don't we deal with the issue we are in there for now before you start trying to rip shit out of my cat? And he was like, oh, yeah. And then I read some reviews about this particular guy, and I was told I could just ask for another vet because this guy's just shitty. But I decided to find another vet because any vet that would employ that guy, I don't want to take my booty bear to. And so I took him to another vet named Dr. Kumar, and he is awesome. And he has his own cat who has hyperthyroidism. So we got his number down to it's 1.78. Wait, yeah, whatever. It's under a 2. And so now we're looking at long-term things. So Henry is sleeping in the closet with me, and my baby bear. What? So weird. Venmo is so weird, dude. I just got a notification that someone wants to friend me on Venmo. What the fuck is happening? So my job I was telling you guys about, I don't work there any longer. Thank God. The culture there was just so, I can't remember how much I told you guys. I don't think that much. I think I just trained the one day. All of my days are running together. I think I told you what the girl said. Just like what a weird. She was upset that I didn't want to serve, right? Like they needed servers at this particular place, and I'm like, I'm not a waitress, and I know that, and I don't mean that in a shitty way. I'm not putting down waitresses. I was one for a long time, but I worked up and I became a bartender, and I'm not the hi, welcome to El Tejano. My name is Cam. Like, I'm just not that broad, right? I wasn't that broad when I was a waitress. I got in trouble all the time because I didn't do the whole like spiel. Like, hi, welcome to Big Wanks. My name is Kim, and would you like to try an audio stein today, or whatever you had to say? I just was never that. And so this girl who's training me, who's like the lead person there, I guess. She had this weird chip on her shoulder about how I was only bartending, and mentioned it a lot. In fact, once she looked at me and she goes, I met one of the servers, and I was like, oh, I thought he was a bartender. She goes, he does both. And I went, oh, okay. I think I told you guys this last week. It's still so fucking cunty that I can't get it out of my head. And I went, oh, okay. And she goes, Kim, I'm going to be frank with you. The only reason that you're bartending and not serving is because you're friends with Joe, who's the owner. And I don't know what she thought I was going to say. I don't know what she thought I was going to be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I guess I'll serve. I just went, oh, okay, that makes sense. And it was like, and then another guy comes in from another bar that they own down the street, and Big Wang's down the street, right? He comes in, and I've known him forever. And we say, hey, and I'm like, how's it going? He's like, oh, we're so busy. And I was like, yeah, dude, if you ever need anybody to cover shifts over there, like, I am looking to work as much as I possibly can, just to make up for the 9 months of not working. So I was just like, whatever you need, if you want me to come over and pick up shifts. He goes, seriously, that would be so great. And then fucking chip on her shoulder she goes, you can't work there because you'd be serving, and you only want to bartend. You only want to be behind the bar. And me and the guy look at her, and the guy goes, actually, she'd be doing both. She understands how it works there. And I go, yeah, Amanda, shh. Like, fuck off. What is your deal? So I was pretty down that this is where I was going to have to end up. And I was like not wanting to like I'm lucky that I was offered a job in the middle of all this, because a lot of people can't find anything. I've been looking for remote office work, and it is so true for, you see the memes and you see all this stuff that it's like, they're like $15 an hour, must have a doctorate and 25 years of experience. Like, employers are really taking advantage that the job market is just like, there's a lot of people looking for jobs. So they're really taking advantage of it, which is super fucked up. But so I felt bad for being like shitty about getting this job. I felt bad about, like not being grateful for it. And I mean, not that I wasn't grateful. I mean, I just was really down about how, like, this place is just not my vibe anymore. Maybe at 22, I don't know. Like, the culture there was just not my culture, right? And it was so clear they didn't want me there. It was so clear. And everything I did, it was very clear that it was just like I worked my first shift on Friday with this fucking broad, man. Just like, what? And I get it. Like, I look at her and I'm like, she's probably 26, but she's like a rough 26. That's mean. I don't care. And I get it. Like, I look at her and I'm like, girl, I was you at Big Wangs. I was that age, like, thinking that, like, I owned everything. You know what? I just had an attitude and I was just whatever. And I got my shifts and, like, fuck you and I don't care. I had better hair, though. That's mean. I don't care. Just such a bitch. So we're behind the bar. Listen to this. This makes no sense. We're behind the bar and I'm the street bartender. So there's one bar and two big sections. One's on the street because of COVID. They built this big street thing, which is kind of cool. One on the street and then the patio bartender. So I'm the street bartender. She's the patio bartender. Now the tickets for the drinks come out the same place and the drinks go to the same place. Like the tickets pop out and then we make them and put them on the bar in the same place. But she's like, you don't make any of the patio drinks. I'm the patio drinks. You make the street drinks. And I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense, but okay, I guess. And so there's no one on the street for the first, like, because, you know, the fires and the heat. So no one's out there for the, like, 3.5 hours they let me work. Now, I know that sounds, but, like, they schedule me, like, the BS shifts that it's like, oh, they'll definitely send me home. But no one's out in the street. Meanwhile, lots of people are on the patio, and this bitch won't let me make one drink. She has like 10 tickets, a bunch in her mouth, a bunch on the thing. She's weeded as fuck, running around like crazy. And I'm like, you know, I could probably just make a margarita or two for you. And she's like, no, I make the patio drinks. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? I'm like, we could just make all the drinks and then just have like the street drinks on this side of the bar and then the patio drinks on this side. Like, what are you talking about? And then one of the patio servers, I don't even know if this is interesting or not. I tried to tell this story to a few people and they were like, not your best. So I'm really sorry. I guess I just need to get it out. I don't know. Just so fucking bananas. And so one of the patio servers comes up to me and asks me for a beer. I don't know, someone was waiting a long time or I don't know, because fucking crazy won't let me make any drinks. So like no one's getting their drinks on the patio because she's running around like a crazy person and I'm just standing there. So I make him a beer and then I try to tell her like the beer, I already made that beer. And she was like, see, this is why it's so confusing. You can't make any drinks for the patio. I'm like, how is that confusing? You just take the ticket and throw it away. It's already made. That's not confusing. What is your fucking problem? So then I'm standing there and she goes, honestly, if you're just not going to do anything, you can go. She's like, I know you don't want to go out to the tables, but you should be helping the servers like bus and pour water. And I'm like, when did I say I wouldn't walk out to the tables? You crazy bitch. I'm like, yeah, I've already been out 3 times. I've busted a bunch of tables. You've just been running around not letting anyone else make drinks, you psychopath. Jesus. Yeah. So that was Friday. They send me home like 3 hours into the shift. So it's just like a bullshit shift. And I'm working the same one on Saturday. And I was just like, so at 3:00, I'm scheduled at 4. I promise this probably won't even have really that satisfying of an ending, but maybe you care, maybe you don't. I don't know. As I'm talking, I'm like, why am I talking so much about this? Maybe to get it out. My brain is all over the map. So I at 3:00, I work at 4, right? The manager calls me and he's like, are you on your way? And I was like, no, not yet. And he goes, what do you mean, not yet? I was like, it's 3. I work at 4. It takes me like 8 minutes to get there. What do you mean? Why? What? And he goes, you're not in trouble. I'm like, yeah, I didn't think I was. I don't feel in trouble. I didn't do anything. And he goes, well, anyway, I was going to send you home as soon as you got here anyway. So like, which is like, why wouldn't you have just called me and whatever? So he goes, so you just need, we need you at another bar. So they own another bar in, I think it's called Studio City. It's like in that area, right? Where it doesn't matter, but they own another one there. And they're like, they just need you there. And I'm like, all right, what do I wear? He's like, just get over there. Joe wants you. Joe's my friend owner, right? And they're like, just get over there. I'm like, okay. So I show up and I know everybody that works there and they're all happy that I'm there. They're like, oh my God, we heard Kim Kral was coming back today. And I'm like, yeah. And then I work and like, they don't treat me like I'm stupid. They don't treat me like I'm like entitled and I like whatever. They know me. So it was just like, And I will say I waited tables. Like it was like it's all pulled. I get there, the bartender, like the guy who actually trained me at Big Wang's like years ago, or maybe he didn't train me, but he was like the bartender years ago. We've known each other like 15 years. I'm like, okay, I'm like, do I bartend? Do I serve? He goes, we just have one bartender, and then we're all bartenders, but because of COVID, people can't go up to the bar, so we have to go to them. So we've worked out a system. I don't mind doing that. First of all, the customers there are so much more classy. Second of all, I trust everybody that I was working with there, that it's like, okay, I'll pool with these girls because I know they run their asses off. The other place, like one girl I don't think smiled once, was just like slow as fucking molasses. And I'm like, you expect me to share tips with her? Like, I hustle, dude. People tip me. I think I just rambled about my new bar job for like 10 minutes. I apologize. But the cool thing is I was talking to a girl who I used to work with at like 3 other bars, not 3 other, I don't know why I would say that, but I worked with for years at another bar. She's the manager now, does the schedule, and she's like, yeah, we want you here. She's like, well, whenever you want to work, however much you want to work, we want you here. We need you here. And so then she talked to the owner, who's also, I guess my boss again, which is so funny, but my friend, and she was like, we want her here. And he goes, well, what does Kim want? And she's like, literally all of us, including Kim. So I'm working at a nice place, guys, where I'm wanted. Where a girl, oh my God, I got to go in and get my tips from that Saturday. It's probably like $10 because they just didn't like me. So crazy. But I remember being that way. I don't know. I never was that. I was cunty for sure. My old nickname was Regina George. Yes, the lead girl in Mean Girls. But I was cunty, but only if you were lazy and didn't, like if you were lazy and stupid, I was mean to you. But if you worked hard and whatever. So I'm performing live for the first time tonight. I don't know how this is going to go. If I'm completely honest with you, I am really scared. I'm really nervous. Because stand-up is a muscle, like it's a muscle. It's something that when you do it like 8 times a week minimum, right? And you're up on stage and you fail and you fail and you fail, but you get better because you're doing it over time. And now it's just been, I've been all right. Like the Zoom shows I've done, I'm funny on. Like I'm a funny human, so I just tell stories, and I think maybe that's what I'll do tonight. I don't know. I had a dream the other night that I got up on stage and couldn't remember any of my jokes. So I just like him and hawed up there. It was awful, which is cool. It's nice that my brain still remembers it's a stand-up comic and I'm having anxiety dreams about comedy instead of bartending. That's when I knew my person was shifting over to being a comedian, is when I stopped having anxiety dreams about bartending and started having them about comedy. So that sounds fucked up, but it's still kind of a cool milestone, Also, there's it's a really good lineup, and I really care what they think of me. I hate that, but I really care what my peers think of me. And I want to, do you hear that? Jesus, California's on fire. So is Oregon and Washington. It's so fucking scary. So scary. Yeah, and also there's a guy that is, I don't know, there's a guy that's friends with the dude that ghosted me at the beginning of all this, and I just don't want to talk about it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm finally not sad anymore about this dude, but I don't want to hear that he's really happy with the girl that he was with while he was getting to know me. Or I also have this weird fear he'll be there, but that would be super weird because I'm going to be there. I don't know. I just have all these anxieties and fears. I don't know if any of this is going to be funny. Oh gosh, if I'm not funny now, will I not be funny later? I am having a spin out day. But Henry's okay. I got a job. Like everything's pretty cool. I also got contacted by a women's group that a women's podcast platform. I don't know what the right word is, but that they're going to start helping me get this podcast more out there and get more, listens and subscribers, and then hopefully get some product placement or whatever. So sponsors. So it's things are actually going pretty well. The Broncos lost on Monday. That sucked. There's some timeout issues that aren't really cool. I got very, very drunk. Very drunk. It's so funny. I don't know if anybody else had, not funny, but I don't know if anybody else has this who had alcoholic parents, but I have so much guilt when I drink. Even if nothing happened, I got super drunk and nothing happened. I lifted home. It was fine. Like, like no one's upset. I'm not upset. I was hungover all day yesterday, but like I have guilt for drinking. Even when I have like a couple glasses of wine, I always have this like weird guilt. And then one would ask, why don't you just quit drinking? Well, I don't really drink that much anymore, not because of the guilt, but just because I'm old now. And like, if I have a night of drinking, it takes me out for like 2 days, all day yesterday. I was completely worthless, and I'm fine today. I'm just really low energy. I don't know if you can tell that I'm not really low energy in here. The Broncos lost. That kind of sucks. But I think I'm not worried about that. I don't know. I mean, it's a weird year for everybody, right? I didn't even feel like football season until, it still didn't even feel like football season. Like I went, the stadium was empty. I went to some Bronco friend's house. That was really great. Am I running out of shit? Oh, I have a poop scoop. I was sent another poop scoop yesterday, which please send me your poop scoops. Please, you can email them to me at kimcrawlspace@gmail.com. So KYMKRALSPACE@gmail.com. Send them to me. So my friend Michelle, who told me I could use her name, which is really exciting. Thanks, Michelle. That's not really her name. I can't lie to you guys. She told me not to use her name, and then she made up a name, and I'm like, I'll just call you Michelle then. But no, apparently I can't lie. Which is a good quality to have, but it gets me in trouble. Like, because I don't lie. It doesn't get me in trouble. It just gets, a lot of people don't like me. The important ones do. You don't like me. That broad from the bar that I just stopped working at, that broad doesn't like me. But I don't really like her either. I just remember, like, this girl had, like, she did something to her knee. So her knee had enough liquid in it that, like would fill a pitcher if you drained it. And then she sprained her ankle and then had some gash on her arm. It was, like, limping around. And I was like, yo, go home. I'll work. And she's like, I can't go home. And I'm like, I was you at 26, where it was just, like, this bar and these shifts are the most important thing. And I think that's what my big fear is in going back to this world is, like, I have, very specific goals with, this podcast. I'm writing a book, like my voiceover stuff. Like I have like very specific goals. And before, when I worked in the bar world, stand up, obviously, all of that took a back seat to like making sure I got my shifts and like holding on for dear life that I make enough money this week. And it's just like, the money always came, the shifts always came, but you know what? My shit fell by the wayside because I was so freaked out about the other stuff and I just don't want to end. So I get this girl who's not my biggest fan. I'm sure she's really upset that I work at this other place too, which is she was really upset about Big Wings. I don't know, what a psychopath. Just like stay in your own lane. You know what I mean? I just never I guess that comes with age or experience maybe, but like stay in your own lane. Just like this guy I used to work with, this smoke show of a guy. What was his name? It was like Mike Maffey or something like that. Matt Maffey. So hot. He was just this hot dude. He was not interested in my cookies at all. Like I tried to flirt a lot and he just knew how hot he was and just was not into it. But I was bartending at this spot. And I didn't know how to make this certain like simple syrup or something. I don't remember what I was fucking making, but I was in the back making it. And he showed me how to like zest a lime. It was something weird that I had never done. And he was like, do it this way. And he's like, just do this until this. I'll be right back. So as he goes away, some other person comes up to me and tells me I'm doing it wrong. And then I'm like, I don't care. I'll do it whatever way you guys want me to do. Like, I literally don't care. Like what I want to do has nothing to do with this place. So just tell me what to do and I'll do it. I don't care. And so the hot guy, Maffey, comes back and he goes, why are you doing it this way? I'm like, some other guy came and told me to do it this way. He goes, why would he do that? I'm like, I don't know. And he gave me the best line ever. And this is what I want to say to this broad or to anybody. Stay in your lane. You know what I mean? Stay in your goddamn lane. He looked at me and he goes, next time someone does that to you, just look at him and say, if I'm worried about me and you're worried about me, who the fuck's worrying about you? And it's so true. Like, it's just like, stay in your lane, man. Like, obviously, I didn't take any of your shifts away because you guys didn't schedule me at all. So what do you fucking care, you know? Back to the poop scoop. The poop scoop. Okay. So my friend, not Michelle, sent me this. Oh God, I live for this shit. Literally. Oh, I wonder if you can hear me. The sound in here has been so weird. Oh, this makes me nervous. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. You're not going to be affected by this. Yeah, this sounds fine. You're not affected by it. You didn't even notice. I could have just paused it. Again, I can't lie. All right, here we go. Michelle, not Michelle, sends this to me. Sitting at my desk at work, small fart crept out, smell lingered for way too long, went to the bathroom, I shit my pants a little and threw my underwear out. How many of you have thrown your underwear away? I've thrown way too many pairs of underwear away from shitting my pants. Not way too many, but like, I feel like more than 3 is a lot. And so more than 3 times I have cut my losses with underwear, sometimes in public. And she wrote, also, this isn't the first time I shit my pants as an adult. It's happened on multiple occasions, usually the result of being sick or having some kind of dairy. Today was an unknown cause. Oh, it's amazing. Who's pooped their pants? You all have. You all have. And if you haven't, your time is coming. I am telling you. Those of you who are all uppity about how I've never shit my pants, yours is going to be the worst. Like when your time comes, it's going to be real public and real embarrassing. Because you're so uppity and stuck up about the rest of us pooping our pants sometimes. I remember in junior high, this is my poop scoop. In junior high, I had this babysitter who, she wasn't my babysitter like during the day, like after, but like my dad would leave town sometimes and she would stay the night and she was in high school, which is fucking bananas. So creepy. There's so much her name was Michelle. I want to find her actually and ask her some questions about my dad. Because, I'm still trying to uncover some shit from my childhood and my dad. But she spent the night, for like a couple of nights while he was out of town. So this is twofold. We're going to tell the poop scoop and then we're going to tell you why I want to find her. But I have no idea what her last name is. No idea. None. I know her name is Michelle. She worked at Bear Creek Car Wash in Lakewood, Colorado, and went to Bear Creek High School and probably graduated in like 94 or 96, something like that. I don't know. But one night I was in junior high. I was in 7th grade. Now in 7th grade, I didn't have a large amount of friends. I was not a very popular young woman. Probably has a lot to do with the fact that I peed my pants a lot and played with dolls. And sometimes I'd bring those dolls to school to play with in my jacket. I think I told you guys that. My best friend Aspen and I would bring them to school. And one time we were on the bus and we're riding in the back where all the cool kids ride, or the 8th graders are supposed to ride, right? So we're in 8th grade and where all the cool 8th graders are supposed to ride. We weren't cool, but this will be case in point. We were under our jackets playing, one of our jackets. We were both under one jacket playing with our dolls. And one of the 7th graders, the popular one, I think his name was like Justin Holland. He went on to be a football player and kind of a dick. I wonder where he is now. I think that's what his name was. But he's like, ew, Kim and Aspen are making out under the coat. And we look up from the coat and we were like, yeah, that's what we're doing under here. Because that's way less embarrassing than what we're actually doing. Because we had our dolls. So I didn't have like an insane amount of friends in junior high. Truthfully, like it was one of my favorite parts of school, those 2 years. Because like we didn't have many friends. It was like 3 of us. Well, we had 2 other girls, Becca and Kira, that would hang out with us sometimes, but they were really normal and you could tell that they just had no other options. So I loved them. I still keep in touch with Becca. But like you could tell it was just like, well, I guess these weirdo, because Stephanie Aspen and I were super fucking weird. And so Michelle is spending the night. And I was having constipation issues. And I found these laxatives. What were they called? Like Simple Touch? No, that's not right. Simple Care. I don't know. They were the pink ones. Remember the pink ones that kind of tasted like M&Ms? Sidebar, this guy in junior high named Jed sold a bunch of those as M&Ms and got expelled. Now, I kind of feel like the people who bought those from Jed, I feel like it's sort of more it's more on them, right? Like, first of all, I would never have bought anything from some kid named Jed, especially that Jed. Jed was sketchy as fuck. And 2, did he color them? Like, what did they do? Like just there's a whole lot of holes in the story. And I feel like if you paid money to him for like loose M&Ms, you know what I mean? Like, just I had so many questions and no one could answer them. But yeah, what did he have? Like a handful of loose M&Ms that he like painted or dyed or something? It was like, here, 50 cents. And then you'd took them all at once. I mean, I don't know how true that story can be, but I do know that he was expelled, and I do know that kid was a fucking sketchball, so I wouldn't be surprised. But what were they called? Doesn't matter. But so I found those in my house, and I asked my babysitter, Michelle, was like, hey, what are these? And she goes, oh, they'll make you shit. And I was like, oh, thank God, because I haven't shit in like a couple of days. So if this will help me shit. And she goes, oh, yeah, that'll do the trick. So I take 3, right? And I think I poop in the morning, no big deal. And then I go to school. I sharted. I pooped my pants in 7th grade. Now I feel more embarrassed about that than I have ever felt about pooping my pants as an adult. Because I farted, and then same thing as Michelle. It was like, not Michelle, which is really funny because this is the babysitter, but same thing as my friend. It just lingered, and you could feel it. So I went to the bathroom, and I was like, oh no. I can't remember what I did. I think I threw away the underwear too. I mean, I don't think I had any other options. But I remember just looking down, and I had these black stretch pants on. So I was like looking and making sure the stretch pants didn't get any like poop on them. And like if they smelled, oh man, what a nightmare, right? So that's my poop scoop. So Michelle worked at this car wash, and then she got married to this like kind of creepy dude. I don't know. I thought he was creepy, but maybe he wasn't. I was a little kid. Excuse me. I keep burping. I thought he was a little creepy. So we went to their wedding, my dad and I, and then like years later, I think I was like in college, she was working at this car wash still, and I don't know, she was there forever. I don't even know if the car wash is still there, but she was working there, and my dad went and got his car wash, and I wait in the car, like I he goes in to pay. I don't know, I waited in the car for something, or he went back to talk to Michelle. I don't know, there was just something weird, and he comes back and he goes, wow, she was really weird towards me. And I was like, oh, yeah? And he goes, and we all know how inappropriate my dad was. I mean, not just like the other abuse, but like in general, he was kind of a creepy dude. Anybody else have a creepy dad? I had a creepy dad. And I know people who are listening to this who knew my dad are like, he wasn't that creepy. A lot of my girlfriends in college met him, and they were like, yeah, he kind of gave me a creepy vibe. He was a creepy dude. He was just a pervy man. But yeah, he came back to the car, and he was like, I wasn't hitting on her or anything. And it was just such a weird thing for him to say, because she was like 21, and he was like 50. And like, he was just like, and I always think about that. Like, how did he treat her prior? I mean, I don't know. I don't know, the creepy dad club. That might be not a little too much, but I just wonder, you know. I always wanted to look her up, but I don't know how to look her up because her name is Michelle, and Colorado is a big place. Start with an H, maybe? I don't know. I feel like there's a way. I don't know. Guys, I'm so all over the place. I just feel like, I guess it's so weird because it's like the world's starting to open back up. Like, I get a job. I'm going to go tell jokes tonight. And like, but the virus hasn't gone away. In fact, it's even more dangerous here in America than it was when we locked down in March. And it's just like, it's scary because it's like, are we just like, we got to get back to our lives? And yeah, I guess we do, but it's just so scary. Like, it's just so scary. I don't know. So I have a microphone. I'm supposed to bring my own microphone tonight. I got it when I was a little kid, not a little kid, but like high school. That's all I wanted for Christmas one year. My family thought that was super weird because they were, you know, at like Thanksgiving, and everyone's like, let's say what we want for Christmas. And I was like, I want a microphone. And the only reason I wanted this microphone is because my friend Catherine and I used to plug it into my stereo and record each other farting into it. That's literally it. It's the only reason why I wanted this microphone, is so I could record myself farting into it. And then I also made these tapes for my best friends when I graduated high school, where I basically just talked for 2 sides of a tape. I was told Catherine, the one who I used to fart into the microphone with, she kept that for years. I think she still probably has it. But yeah, so I'm going to use my fart microphone. I'm sure the fart has gone away. I haven't farted into it in like 20 years. Maybe I'll try and fart into it tonight. Not on the show because, well, I guess it's my microphone, I suppose. If I'm bombing really hard, I'll fart. I can't fart though. We talked about this last week. I don't really fart. Like, I know that, like, believe me, I know it's because it's an unhealthy thing. I just don't, like, if I'm farting, it means I'm going to shit my pants. Like, it's never, like, I just, like, my one friend goes, yeah, a healthy person farts like 15, 20 times a day. I don't fart 15, 20 times a day. Sometimes I think I go a whole day without doing it. Like, I don't know. I don't know. She didn't believe me. And you guys know I'm not I'm not afraid of being gross. I mean, I talk about pooping my pants a lot on this podcast. Oh man, I don't even know where we're at on time. I feel like I'm not present at all today. I just feel. And then I also slept all day yesterday. Well, I didn't. I watched a lot of Marvel movies. I keep asking Facebook questions about stuff, and then the comments explode, and then I like get overwhelmed and don't read any of it. So my latest one I'm asking about is the Marvel movies and what order, what your favorite one is. I'd never watched the new Spider-Man because, well, I don't know. They did Spider-Man like 62 times, so I never watched it. And I never watched the Hulk movies. It just confuses me. They also did like 50 Hulk movies. And not 50 like the way like, like Batman, we have like 15 Batmans. Not like that. They made these Hulk movies and these Spider movies like within a decade of each other. I guess Batman was that way too. No, I don't think so. Yeah, like they made the one with I think Jim Caviezel, I don't know, the guy who played Jesus. They made that, and then they made Edward Norton like 2 years later and just pretended the Jim Caviezel thing didn't happen. And now obviously Mark Ruffalo is the best Hulk because, I don't know, Edward Norton's pretty great. Jesus is all right too. He had but like, so I asked what order I watched that in, and it exploded. And then I also posted a Planned Parenthood thing yesterday, and my English teacher from high school, who was one of my favorite English teachers, spouted off some of the most ignorant BS. And like, I don't know, it was really hard. Like, I know Facebook, I'm going to watch The Social Dilemma before next podcast, and maybe we could talk about it. But like, I don't know, Facebook is like, I posted a tweet from this girl who says like right now she's dealing like she has a mass on her breast, and Planned Parenthood is helping her figure out if it's cancerous or not, completely free because she's uninsured. And I wrote basically yesterday, it was just like, if you are a defund Planned Parenthood person, please unfriend me. It's like, unfriend me, and maybe crack a book and do a little research before you open your mouth about shit you don't understand. Like, people who are like, it's an abortion clinic, have no idea what they are talking about. And I have a benign cyst on one of my breasts that I found 7-8 years ago. And it was the scariest time in my life. It was right after I like cut out my dad from my life, so I didn't have, and my family kind of like shifted and took his side. So I didn't have like a family support. My mom was off the reservation at that time. So I didn't have parents during this. And I found this lump, and I was uninsured, and I was, I was waiting tables and not making, I was just like barely skating by. I don't know sayings. I was barely paying my bills. So like getting cancer was just like, fuck, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I didn't have a doctor, and I went to Planned Parenthood, and they helped me. Like I had to go to a specialist because it was unclear if it was benign or not, but it was not that expensive, and it was like from Planned Parenthood. And it was one of the scariest times in my, like, literally and also made me realize how many great friends I have. My best friend Mark of like 20 years, after I found out it was benign, right? I call him up and he goes, I was looking into ways how I could marry you and get you on my insurance, so you wouldn't, if you had cancer, you wouldn't have to go through this alone. How, Jesus, I mean, there's a reason that guy's been my best friend for 20 years. And I had a lot, like, I got a lot of people I had to call after that appointment, which made me feel less alone. Especially in a time that I didn't have family, but it was benign. And so my high school English teacher comments, the founder of Planned Parenthood, and I didn't know this, and I read a bunch of articles, and that really sucks, but it was founded in 1916. Most things that were founded back then were founded by severe racists, right? Like our country was founded by severe racists. So it's and I guess Margaret Sanger, her goal with Planned Parenthood was to abort as many black and brown babies as she could to eliminate the race, which is heinous, awful. Also in 1916, which doesn't make it better, but she's not around anymore, and they denounced her. They then anybody, you could just open the internet and it'll be like, and it's just so crazy because like this teacher, then she's claiming partial birth abortions are common at 9 months. People are just casually walking in to abortion clinics at 9 months pregnant and just being like, I forgot to do this. Just like it's just the most uneducated. And I wasn't going to engage, but then she kept going on about this partial birth, and it's so insensitive to people who have had to make this horrible decision. I have a friend whose girlfriend a couple of months ago, her baby at 9 months was not going to survive outside the womb for longer than a couple of months. And if the mother survived, the baby definitely wasn't going to, and it was going to be an excruciating pain. So they had to do what is actually called a late-term abortion, and is illegal in a lot of states, which is completely insane. The partial birth comes from the Bush administration, basically like propaganda to try and get people on that side to make it as gross as they can. So people are like, no, this decision and this, what they had to do with their baby that she'd carried with her for 9 months. And I don't know, this isn't I always say it's not political podcast. It's an everything I want to talk about podcast. This decision that they had to make, they'll never recover from. Like that, this isn't a thing that time will take care of. This will be something that will fuck her up for the rest of her life. And to have my English teacher throwing out and that, so I was like, I wasn't going to engage with you on this because you sound like a psychopath. I didn't say that part. I just said a bunch of educated stuff. And then I said, I'm just really disappointed. You were one of my favorite teachers. And what's wild is so many people then also, I mean, there were some mean comments, which is just, I just think is unproductive. And I think that's what makes Facebook fucked up, is that like strangers could just make fun of this old woman. And like, but like the other shitty part is, and I say this all the time, but like there was a lot of articles proving what she said was wrong. And it's like, I think people just, instead of going, oh, okay, I didn't realize all this, let me do a little bit more research, you guys are right. It's just like, we can't admit and change our minds. We can't say, oh, I was wrong. Like she was just like, no, this is what I believe in, and I am not going to support late-term abortions. At least she stopped saying partial birth because she probably fucking Googled it. But it's just like, these, like, I just don't understand. And I'm going to watch Social Dilemma. I'm a little afraid that it's going to make me want to quit Facebook. Facebook's just like, it's just, I mean, truthfully, I unfriend people as soon as I see anything that's just, I know that sounds like anything that's, no, it doesn't. I stand by it. If people are saying things like anti-choice, racism, severe pro-Trump stuff, like, I don't even think anymore. I'm just like, I'm not here to read this like hate. So I just, if it's like a I don't know. I've unfollowed some people, but some people I just straight delete. Like some guy from my high school, his profile picture is like something supporting like the rise of a militia in Minnesota to take out these Black Lives Matter protesters. Like, and I was like, I can't even. Like that kind of person, you can't, and he's reposted the pandemic YouTube video 58 times. So I just unfriended that guy because it's just like, talking to you is like talking to a wall. Like it's not, you're not going to listen. And my high school English teacher, it's just like, I just don't understand why we can't admit when we're wrong. You know what I mean? Like I said when I was in college, I, thank God, met some women that, I was talking to one of them the other night and she goes, I remember when you were talking about how abortion was murder. She goes, I remember we were on the bus going from one end of campus to the other. We were new friends and you were just like spouting this shit off. And I was like, actually, and then this broad, instead of making fun of me or calling me names or being like, fuck her, sat me down and talked to me. And instead of me being like, no, this is how I feel and I'm not going to listen to any other facts or science, I'm just going to yell how I feel. we were able to come to a middle ground, and I just don't think that shit exists anymore. And I think I mean, who knows? I mean, this woman is lovely and one of my best friends in the world. We've been best friends for 20 years. Hi, Rain. We met in the recycle room. I mean, we had met, but we like bonded in the recycle room on our floor freshman year of college because she was sitting in there looking up at the moon, sad about a boy. And I was going in there so I could look up at the moon to be sad about a boy. So we sat there looking at the moon, being sad about boys. So funny now. I know exactly who I was sad about. I can't remember who Rain was sad about, but like, I wonder, I mean, like, she's lovely. So I think that it would have gone the same way had we had a computer screen to hide behind. But I think that's one of the things that Facebook does. It like makes us like, you would never like a lot. And believe me, like, I full-heartedly disagree with my high school English teacher. And I'm very sad that a woman that I thought was so educated and cool. And like, she was like a spinster who had like, her own house. I know that sounds, but I mean, she was just like an independent woman. And it's really sad to me that she believes this shit. But like some of the stuff some of my Facebook friends were saying were like, you fucking boomer. Oh my God. Like, I mean, just calling her names. And I'm like, she's not a woman. I mean, I don't know how old she is. Probably like 65. I don't know. That's not old, but she's not. Yeah, and it's just like, would you be yelling at her like this if we were in person? And it's just like, so when I talked to Rain on the bus that day, that my whole life changed, and I actually did some research. I worked for Planned Parenthood when I first moved out to LA. I raised money and awareness, and I called donors and listened to why they donated to Planned Parenthood, and got real educated about the laws. And because I worked for the PAC too, which is their political action fund. And I talked to a lot of donors, and they went from a lot of cops. Weirdly enough, a lot of cops, old cops, donated to Planned Parenthood because they were on duty during a time where back alley abortions were happening, and people and one guy was just like, I was tired of seeing bodies because this wasn't legal. So now and then I also talked to people who made the decision to have to terminate in their third trimester because the baby was not going to survive, or was going to be a painful 3 year. Like, it's just so, God. And it's so funny to me, these anti-choicers, I call them anti-choicers. I know they're supposed to be called pro-lifers, but no, fuck that. They're not pro-lifers. Are you kidding me? If they were, they'd give a fuck about the kid once it came out of the womb. Like, they don't. They don't at all. There are kids right now that their parents can't afford Wi-Fi, and so they're getting further and further down, like, behind in a pandemic because they can't. A woman got in trouble for taking her kids to fucking Taco Bell, I read, because Taco Bell had free Wi-Fi, and that's where her kids wanted to learn. Like, oh my God, it's so hard not to just scream angry all the time. And I don't know. Hopefully this episode doesn't lose me a bunch of followers or listeners. I'm not worried. You know, it's funny. I'm not worried about losing a bunch of listeners because my stance on Planned Parenthood. Because if you're listening to this and it makes you mad and you don't want to listen to me anymore, that's completely fine with me. Crack a book, But what I'm more nervous, I'm like, did I ramble too much about that bartending job? That's more what I'm worried about. I am not sure where we're at time. Do I do this every single week? Yes, I do. So I have my first live show tonight. My first live show. Do I talk about puking on that dick? I feel like this is my chance to, not talk about puking on a dick ever again. But man, I miss telling that joke. I miss puking on a dick, I only did it the one time, and it was a long time ago. But man, I miss that. Haven't heard from the guy. I mean, the guy that open-handed slapped me while we were fooling around a couple of weeks ago. No one's gonna find that funny. I tried to tell it on a Zoom show, and everyone was like, gasp. And I'm like, yeah, he didn't like throw me against the wall, and I wasn't scared for my life. I think it was just a weird. I mean, for sure not okay, but like, I don't know. Maybe I just find it more funny than I find it appalling. But I tried to tell that on a Zoom show. It wasn't great. You know what does do well on Zoom shows? Talking about shit in your pants. Oh, fuck, guys. Why is this not... Oh, because it's going to the 20. Got it. I'm trying to keep my, I want to end on something fun. Oh, God, I don't think I've ever told you guys that I'm double cousined. Double cousined. So when I was a kid, Oh my God. Okay. So when I was a kid, I was riding in the car to one of my family reunions with my mom and my aunt or my stepdad or somebody. I don't know. My mom was in there, and I go, "Hey, Mom, how come the same people are at Grandma's family reunions that are at Grandpa's family reunions?" Because, like, on my dad's side, it was just like a whole different set of people. It was never the same, but they were the same people. And without skipping a beat, my mom goes, "Oh, yeah, honey, we're double cousined." And I was like, "What?" So basically, okay, if you don't understand, I'm going to try and explain it the best I can. So my grandma, if you don't understand, maybe I'll draw a picture. My grandma and my grandpa are married, and they're dead, but they were married, My grandma and my grandpa were married, and my Aunt Jane and my Uncle Dean married. My grandma and my Uncle Dean are cousins, and my Aunt Jane and my granddad are brother and sister. So it's by blood or by marriage. So it's not like bad inbred, but it's by marriage. But it means my mother would be my cousin if she wasn't my mother. And when I found that out in 7th grade, I thought it was the funniest thing. I called my grandma cousin grandma until she died. I went to the junior high the next day and told everyone I was inbred, probably added to me not having that many friends. Told everyone I was inbred. And then my mom goes, "I don't think you know what that means, honey." And I was like, "Sure it does. It means we're all related a bunch." And oh man, we're related a bunch. Yeah, that's the hillbilly side of the family where I have some though, weirdly progressive. Weirdly, I watch their Facebooks, and they're not weirdly, but for being in a small, mostly white town in Colorado, they're pretty progressive, which is kind of cool. So it makes me not want to, me not want to badge the hillbilliness in them, which is awesome. But yeah, double cousined. I thought there'd be more to that story than, I mean, my grandma thought it was funny when I called her cousin grandma. I feel like I was all over the map. My brain is just bleeding right now. I'm booking a show on Zoom. I'm going to do an hour on October 3rd. I'm producing an hour show of a 12-hour marathon to raise money for Biden and Harris. So stay tuned for that. That should be fun. I need to book it today. And then I think I just need to lay in my bathtub and freak out about how I might bomb tonight. I think that's what's on the agenda. I book that show, and then I lay in the bathtub, and then maybe poop some too. Not in the bathtub, but the toilet's right next to the bathtub. And then just panic about how tonight will go. And maybe it'll be awesome. It'll probably be awesome. It'll be really nice to be back on stage, see humans again. I've seen humans, but you know what I mean. See my comedy humans. Yeah, I think that's the episode. I feel like it was a little less present than I normally am. I'm very sweaty. Maybe it's not. Maybe every week this is how I sound, and this week I actually just listened to myself rambling. I love it though. Thank you for listening to all this. Thank you. And thank you for all your support. I believe I am going to, so Dash, we're still waiting on Dash. Who knows what's going to happen with that. But I did record this great episode with Michael Malone, and I do have a bunch of guests I want to record with. So I think I'm going to release a crawl space twice a week, and I think one's going to be with a guest. And I know. I'm just going to see how it goes. One's going to be with a guest, and this has been a dream of mine to do for a long time, where I have a podcast talking to people about how, back in the day, it was where I wanted to talk to people about depression and, their shit that they've gone through and how they've got through it. And that's what I want to do now, but I called it something different than, but I'm going to call it crawling up, like leveling up. How cool is that? I'm way too proud of that. But I think I'm going to do that and then just bank the episodes. So then I'll just have some for Dash because I'm going to have to pre-record anyway. We're not going into the studio. I don't know. This is just me pontificating. I just hadn't hear that word. I learned that word 20 years ago, and I try to use it as much as possible because it's a good word. So stay tuned for that. I'm very excited about that. And I'm one lucky broad. We haven't done that yet. I am one lucky broad. I'm one lucky broad that I get to perform live tonight. The live shows are very few and far between, and not a lot of people are getting asked to do them. So I'm really, really great. I'm really lucky. I'm one lucky broad. I get to perform live tonight, regardless of how, the outcome goes. I've bombed quite a bit. I bombed the last time on March 11th. Everyone bombed on that show. There was like 4 people in the audience, and COVID was really scary then still, right? Nothing had shut down yet. But even if I bomb, I get the opportunity to tell jokes again. And man, I don't know how to describe that feeling. If you're a comedian, you know. If you're not, you probably think we're crazy, but we just chase that high, baby. I don't know why I said that. Yeah, thanks everyone. Please give me a follow. I'm KYMKRAL on all of the socials. Send me your poop scoops or why you're one lucky broad to kimcrawlspace@gmail.com. And then if you get a second, please share this. Please subscribe, like, review, anything you can do. That would be really helpful. I'm a part of this new platform that's going to help me get it more out there, the podcast more out there. But if you are listening and you haven't subscribed or rated and reviewed yet, I would really, really appreciate it if you do. I think that's all for me. Is that, we good? And also thanks for all the love you sent me for Henry. It's really funny. A lot of people that I considered really close have yet to, whatever, we can get into that. There's a girl what a weird way. Let's not end the podcast on that, because that's just like, I'm happy he's okay. And as we've talked about, this is the podcast, or not the podcast, the pandemic has been a great time for a lot of us to pause and sort of look at what's important to us. And I've let go of a lot of humans in my life. I wish them all the best. There's no bad blood, but I just want people in my life who think I'm fucking magical, because I am, and you deserve that shit too. So don't let people in your life that don't think you're just pure magic, because you are. Hey, this is episode 25. We're a fourth of the way to 100 episodes. Yay! All right, I'm super excited. I'm going to be done now. I will see you next week. Wear a mask. Be kind. Maybe don't flip out at old strangers on Facebook. Don't be a part of the problem. Calling an old woman names for her archaic views. It's just not productive. I don't know. That's how I feel. But, yeah, be kind. Wear a mask. And I love you all. Bye.